All right, in this series of videos here, I want to make a My Tasks, and I have here basic GUI because we're just going to be using this menu and then hitting go instead of having like checkboxes and remove buttons and stuff like that. So we can, I might in the future do a more advanced GUI, but for now I just want to focus on the actual programming skills and not so much on the GUI, the graphical user interface, right? We're just going to keep it simple and make sure it works. Okay, so I have the start code here, right? It's just got the basic HTML with the menu and the button, and then a div here for the output, div called with the ID of tasks. And our main.js just has, hey, when I click that button, it gets the menu element, and based on what the selection is, right, based on the menu selection, and I hit go, it'll call one of these functions. Okay, and right now it just logs it into the console. All right, so if I had remove task, where we go. Okay, so my goal here is we could do a one-dimensional array where it's just the task, just a description of the task, but I also want to keep track of whether it's been completed or not. So we're going to do an array of objects here, and each task object will have like a description and a completed variable. So let's start up here under my HTML elements. We'll make our global variables. We're going to need access to a task array, and we'll just set that up as an empty array to begin with. And we will add things to it when we select the option to add a task. All right, so in this add task, because we're doing just a simple GUI, a basic GUI, we're just going to use the prompt function. So I'll create a variable called description, and we'll go up the prompt function and just say enter task description, like so. Okay, and then I want to take their task description, and obviously every new task will not be completed, and I want to create a new task. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to have, these are my menu functions. I'm going to have some helper functions. And I want a function that's going to be in charge of creating a new task. Okay, and this function should take in I'm just going to call it the task description. Right, and it's going to return an object that has a description property, which we will initialize to the task description passed in, and it'll have a completed property, which is, I thought about doing this as a Boolean, like true or false, so it's not completed, but we're going to do it as an empty string, and you'll see more why I did that in a little bit later. Okay, so this function should create a new task. It'll return this object with two properties. So I guess in here I just want to go tasks, right, which is my global array. I want to add to it, so I can just do dot push, and I'm going to push a new task. We're going to call that function, and we'll pass in the description that I got from the user. Right, so that description from the user gets passed into here. It becomes a part of the object. And all right, let's try that. So we'll say add task, enter task description. All right, do something cool. And I can't tell if anything happened. So I'm just going to do a quick thing here. Okay, this looks good. It looks like it's an array with an object in it. And at position 0, we have a description and completed. Awesome. Okay, and we should, when I hit the go button after I put this, I should probably do some sort of a verification. I have this task element, which is this div here. So let's go task element.inner HTML is assigned, and we'll just give it the string task added. And then let's do backticks here. Sorry. Task added, and then I'll actually do the description inside of it right there. So add task, do something fun. Task added, do something fun. Okay, so at least we get a little bit of verification there. And it's still, yeah, array with an object in it. Yay. Okay, that's adding a task. Now, oh, well, actually, you know what's funny? Instead of doing a verification, I guess what I should be doing is just printing all of the tasks, right? And then they'd see it added. That would make more sense. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Instead of doing this, let's create a function called display all. And that's one of our helper functions, function display all. Make sure I spell it properly. We can add a little, we should add comments to these functions to describe what they do. So this one was create a new task, create and return. We'll just say return. Return a new task object. This one will be display all tasks in the global task array. Tasks array. So we'll create a little output string, which will be an empty string, and then we'll loop through all of our tasks. Let I be 0, the first index, less than task.length, I++. And just to make sure that this works here, let's just go task at position I, just enter the console. And now whenever I display or add a task, it'll push it and then call the display all function. So go do something interesting, and then it printed out the task here. Awesome. If I hit go again, do something crazy, and you'll see that yes, it looped through and printed both of them out. Okay, but we don't want them in the console, we want them on the screen here. So let's see if we can get that part done. So we want to go output string plus equals, and we want to add something to this. And again, we've done this in the past. I usually like to have a, let's get it a get task HTML string function. And we'll pass in task at position I. And this just keeps it a little cleaner. So we'll get HTML for task, for given task. Function get task HTML string. We'll take in a single task, right? Task at position I is a single task object. And we will return, I'll do a backtick here. And I think what I want to do is I want to make a div. And inside of that div, oh, hold on. I also want the I variable. I want to know its position. Okay, so when I call this function, I'm also going to pass in I and then the task object too. Because what I want to print out here is inside my div, I want to print out its position, I, and then we'll do task, which is an object, so we have to go dot and get its description. Is that all I want? You know what, maybe, well, see, and this is where this debate of, do I need a function for this or not? Like, if this got more complicated, I'm going to leave it as it is, but because it's such a short thing, we probably could have fit that on the one line here, and that wouldn't have been too difficult. But maybe in the future we'll add like a checkbox and a remove button, and then this will get more complicated, and we'll be happy that it's inside of a function. Okay, and then out here we need to do the output element. Is that what we called it? No, it was the task element. Task element.inner HTML is assigned this output string, right? That's going to have all the divs in it. Okay, hopefully that works. So go do something wild. Hey, there it is. Do something wild. Let's do another one. Do something useful. Okay, 0, 1. It is adding. We'll do one more. Do something boring. Just cuts. All right, now I want to look at my style sheet here. Very simple style sheet. And let's style this so it looks a little nicer. How do I want to do this? So we've got this div here first of all, and then we're putting divs inside of that. So let's start by doing this. I'm going to select the element with the ID tasks, which is that div. And if I do a space and then go div, this should select all of the divs that are inside of this element. Okay. And we'll give them a border of 1 pixel solid gray, maybe padding of like 10 pixels. And let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, that's not bad. Maybe a margin top and bottom of 5 pixels, left and right of 0. Maybe a little more margin. Well, actually, that's not bad. And then I think what I'll just do is this task div, the div itself, we'll just give it a margin top of like 20 pixels, just to put a little more space, maybe a little more than that. A little more space between the add task button and the actual task. Okay, anyway, you can style this as much as you want, but that's good enough for me for now, I think. Okay, all right. So we got the add task working, and then this display all function, which will come in handy whenever we change the list. We can just call this display all function to show the updates. Let's pause there for this video, and we'll see you in the next one.